Well, we're here. You know, for a manor on the outskirts of town, it's not as haunted house-y as I was expecting. And it was a much shorter drive than I was hoping. What do you mean? I'm not nervous. You've told me 1,000 times that Celine is nice, so why would I be nervous? Absolutely. I am ready to get out of the car. Any second now. But you don't know that. What if she hates me? What if I say something stupid that offends her, or if I trip and fall on my face as soon as I walk in the door? You know, maybe this is some elaborate ruse and I'm actually here to be made into some newly turned baby vampire sacrifice. It could happen. I'm like 60% sure I read something like that in middle school. Maybe we could just postpone. I've been fine so far. We'll just keep doing what we've been doing, and I know she's expecting us. I know I promised. God damn it. How dare you use my people-pleasing against me? Come on. Yeah, I'm okay. Just focusing on every step, rather than meeting a woman who's apparently older than all of my grandparents combined. What are you doing? What, you're just gonna walk in, no knocking? Sweetheart, we're not at the den. You can't just... Oh, my God.
Actually, my home has a strict open-door policy. No need for knocking if I already know you're coming. You must be Genevieve. It's so nice to finally meet you.
Yes, it's nice to meet you too, Miss, Your Highness, ma'am.
Oh, please, just call me Celine.
But aren't you the Queen?
Only as a formality. The use of those titles has been just a grander version of saying old.
Oh, with all due respect, I really don't think I can do that. I can already feel my grandma rolling in her grave, not calling you by some kind of honorific, so Miss is the lowest I can go.
Miss Celine, then. Still, better than your Alpha, who keeps insisting on calling me Highness. I have to keep reminding her every time. And you, our dear knight in shining armor. How are you? Good. I'm glad. And I know I ask this every time, but has Beth... Still? How long has it been now? Oh, for nature's sake, trust me, I understand taking your time to be sure, but at this rate I'm getting impatient, and I don't age.
Do not ask her that. You tried that already with Tristan, and that didn't work. Well, they've got a bet going with Simon for when Beth's gonna finally get with her little, seer friend, and it's looking like Simon's gonna win, so somebody's trying to speed up the clock.
Resorting to cheating. Cheeky. I like it. But enough about the rest of them. Follow me. We can continue this in the East study.
Okay. Wait, does that mean there's a West study? Holy shit. Shoot.
You can swear, dear. I may be old, but I'm not that set in propriety.
They told me you host a lot of vampires and travelers. I just wasn't expecting it to be so...
Really fucking big?
Yeah, what you said.
Right in here. I'm not hosting many guests now, but regardless, this is my private study. Please sit, make yourselves comfortable. Firstly, I wanted to apologize for my absence. An old friend of mine had passed, and I wanted to give my respects in person. Can I get you two anything? Tea? I do have some energy drinks tucked away somewhere here.
Oh, that's totally fine. I understand. My condolences, and no thank you. I'm good.
Very well. Regardless of circumstance, thank you for your patience. I can only imagine what the last few weeks have been like for you. Has the supplemental blood been working? Curbing the hunger, all that?
Yeah, it's been fine. Can't complain.
Oh, there's no need to lie. It tastes awful by now, doesn't it?
I didn't want to be rude.
I don't consider it rude in the slightest. The first few weeks, the blood satiates the hunger, but after that initial bloodlust is curbed, the taste tends to develop a copper quality.
See, I told you it tasted like pennies. Iron and pennies do not taste the same. Is it always gonna taste like that now, or...?
Oh, goodness, no. Your situation has been particularly unique. The supplemental blood has been exactly that. A supplement. Something to help ease you through the turning process before you begin to drink real blood as your permanent sustenance. Now that you've settled here, you'll learn about the blood donation programs that vampires use for their day-to-day lives, as well as how to drink from a live source.
Oh, joy. Can't wait.
It's not nearly as bad as you might think. You'll find that the real thing is much more appetizing.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that.
Yes, of course. Go right ahead. And stop me to ask questions at any time.
Listen, if I ask every question, we're gonna be here for a while.
I do have an eternity.
Oh, right. Okay. So, I know that the blood you sent me wasn't human, but if you're able to drink animal blood, why feed from people at all? It seems like a lot of trouble to go through. Do I really have to switch to people? I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just...
No, that is a very fair question.
Okay.
How's your mate explain the agreement I have with the pack?
We've glossed over it a little. They hunt the animals on their property, and you take the blood to use for the vampires in your clan. That's why it's mostly deer blood, right?
You're correct. But there is more to our association beyond that. When Claire purchased what is now your pack's den from me, she was the one who brought up the idea of a blood exchange system. Vampires can't survive on animal blood alone, not without severe complications to their health. Many tried in the early 19th century, but that only led to a surge of vampires starving themselves into a bloodlust.
Oh. Okay, yeah, you mentioned that. What does it mean by enchanted?
The blood, more specifically the supplemental blood, is enhanced by magical means, altering the proteins, antigens, red blood cell count, and so on to be more equated to that of a human. It's a rare process that only shifters are able to accomplish. I've only seen it a handful of times in my life. I didn't believe it when Claire proposed the idea, but as you can see, it's been a stable arrangement. The blood created from this can be used to not only sate a vampire's hunger, but also aid them in healing from severe injuries. Not enough to fully do the job, but it's enough to stabilize until enough human blood can be collected. As a matter of fact, several vampire clans have reached out to join in on this little enterprise, and from what I've heard, it's spared several lives, as you've experienced.
Holy shit. So... wait, sweetheart, have you been making all the blood you've been bringing me? Why just Claire? Is it because she's the alpha, like a clearance sort of thing?
Certain people have a knack for certain magics, but enough about the process and business end. That is hardly something you need to worry yourself over. In the meantime, we can... Oh?
Hey, we talked about this.
No, your mate is right. The circumstances of your turning are important, and we should discuss them. Thank you for keeping us on track. Genevieve, darling, I don't mean to make you relive that night, so we'll just assume we all know it happened and move on. Unless you've gained any memories of that night that you think would be important to tell me.
No. Small flashes, but nothing solid. It hasn't really changed at all.
That's what I thought. And how have the separation pains been while weaning off the supplemental blood? Given the timing, they should have started about a week ago.
Separation, Am I supposed to be in pain?
Oh. Well, when a vampire makes another, there is a distinct link between maker and progeny. A certain codependency that fades over time, but in that first year is essential. The maker is compelled to protect, while the newly turned is compelled to stay close and, unfortunately, obey in order to survive. Instinct can only take someone so far when learning in their new bodies, so it's a maker's duty to teach those that they create. If a vampire is left without their maker for too long, the bond is strained and can cause varying levels of pain for both parties. The longer the separation, the greater the pain. The link is what led to the first clans being formed and has shaped our social systems ever since. It's been months now since you returned, correct? And you felt nothing?
No, only physical side effect has been hungry. A few headaches from overstimulation, but nothing like that. I haven't felt compelled or, hurting.
I see. Well, that certainly changes things. If the pains have not been present at all, then one of two things has happened. One, which I think is unlikely, is that immediately after your turning, while you were still unconscious, the bond was severed. Or two, which I believe to be the case, the one who turned you is already dead.
What? But what about the whole bond thing? If I'm supposed to be hurting just from being far, wouldn't I also have felt if they just up and died? Am I always going to be bound? I can't be near them. I don't want...
Shh. Breathe, young one. I don't think you have anything to worry about, not now.
Okay.
If your maker died at any point in the last months, you most certainly would have felt it, unless you weren't even conscious when it happened. From what I've been told and what I've experienced in my centuries, I believe you may have been the victim of a newly turned vampire, still in their bloodlust, someone too inexperienced in their body to know when to stop before it's too late. It only takes a week to get into that mindset, but once a vampire is there, they'll attack anything with a heartbeat until their hunger is sated. I believe that whoever attacked you once they realized what they had done, tried to correct their mistake, but for a starved newborn it would have been too much. They would have been dead before you even woke up, and the bond had dissolved before it truly manifested. I've seen it before many, many times. And now you see why my agreement with the pack has been so essential for the clans in the region. Even just a few vials can keep a newborn from succumbing. No. There's no way of knowing for certain if that's truly the case. We can only speculate. You'll need to monitor yourself, Genevieve, to see if you feel any discomfort, pain, a tugging of sorts. If not, we can assume that whoever did this to you is no longer around to do it to anyone else. It's not a perfect resolution, but it's what we have to work with. I'm so sorry.
Fuck. I don't know if that makes me feel better or not. Well, because if that's true, then that means that they were just like me, which means I could have done it to somebody else, or God fucking forbid, to you, and if they're not dead and it was on purpose, then they're still out there and I have no clue. Sweetheart, no, you're not doing that.
I am going to agree with our newest arrival. I won't condone you rushing back to hunt for someone who may not even exist anymore. This is already a difficult situation enough as it is without you playing vigilante. The answer is not as cut and dry as you would like it, but life rarely is. Yes.
If they did survive, even with the bond gone, can they still find me? If they wanted to?
Oh, that, I can promise you, won't happen. I have contacts in every region of this country and multiple across the world. I have already called in a few favors to confirm where this rogue is. Now that we know you haven't had any separation pains, I'll pass along the information. Nothing will happen without me knowing it. I promise you are safe here. You, your mate, your entire pack is safe. And if anything were to happen, you now have the strength of the Avaros clan to protect you. You have a support system here. And soon you'll meet the rest of the clan as well. I think you'll get along with them nicely. And moving on to happier topics, I would like to extend an open invitation to you. You are more than welcome to come and go through my home as you please. I understand you two have your living situation figured out, but should you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you. That helps a lot. You're so much nicer than I was imagining.
What? You expected me to be like the movies? Cold and unfeeling, disconnected from the world?
A little bit.
It's not an unfair guess. Some do go through those phases, usually around the 300-year-old mark. But I found that it's far easier to go through an eternity with kindness than isolation. I won't lie and say that I'm completely aware of the world either. It's changed so much in such a short time. The internet is still quite intimidating, for example, and very confusing. Some of my clan do their best to teach me, but I still can't wrap my head around how an application on birdwatching is so popular.
Oh, God, do you mean Twitter?
Yes, they insist I make an account and join, but I hardly have an interest in... Oh, that'll be Silas. I asked him to stop by once you arrived. He'll give you the grand tour of the estate, just so you know where everything is. I don't want to keep him waiting, but do you have any more questions for the moment?
I think I'm okay for now. It'll be more of a I'll ask when it's relevant sort of thing, because right now everything's just kind of bouncing around in my head and I don't know how to ask the right questions. Thank you, Miss Celine, for everything. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I'll see you both out when Silas is done showing you around. Oh, actually, my young shifter, I'm going to ask that you stay. Only for a moment longer, Genevieve, if you wouldn't mind.
No, that's all right. I'll be right outside, okay? Hi, are you Silas? Hi, my name's Genevieve. It's really nice to meet you.
I can tell you're not happy with my answers this evening. No, you hide your emotions well, but I'm far too old to be fooled. Do you think I should be doing more? Or is it that you're agitated there isn't more that you can do? Little one, your intentions are good, but I fear you're focusing on the wrong things. Tell me, did you know that Genevieve would be attacked? Did you send that vampire? Did you leave her behind knowing what would happen? No. And yet, you seem to take that responsibility on your own shoulders. I understand more than you would think. There is no greater pain than not being able to protect the ones that we love. It's an agony I wouldn't wish on anyone, and yet it is the most constant ache that haunts this world. I know you and your family are all too aware of it. You have a good heart. Don't allow it to be clouded with grief of what could have been or what you should have done. That is in the past. All you can do now is be here in the present. I can provide monetary support, protection, resources, but what Genevieve will need more than anything is safety, comfort. She needs you, her gallant knight, and not to go out and slay an enemy, but to guard her while she puts herself back together again. Can you do that? Good. I have no doubt that you will. Now, off you go. Don't keep your girl waiting. But do keep in mind what I've said, my friend. Oh, and do be careful how many ghost stories Silas sneaks into the tour. You know how he is about his superstitions. I'll see you both soon. And now to deal with you. It's me. Yes, I just got back. I would have called sooner, but I've had some pressing issues to deal with here first. Vesna's dead. She'd gotten her family to safety, but the home was destroyed. The temple was intact, at the very least. The door was nearly ripped off its hinges, but the wards did their job holding the building together. No, that's what's worrying me. I found the codex. It was torn to pieces on the floor, but it was complete. Whatever they were looking for, they didn't find it. Yes, I've brought the pages back with me and stored them away. After everything that they had been through, I couldn't give it back to the family. Yes, I've already spoken with Demetrius, and he's spreading the word now. I don't want to speculate with so little evidence, but... yes. It feels like Andreas all over again. Yes. Blood mage. So you agree? It makes sense. No other magic user knows that it exists, let alone that it was divided. I think it's time we discuss reconvening. We'll decide more when you get here. All right. Until then. You too. Something's wrong. The magic is shifting.